Warrior, I'm off to DC and it's practically the middle of the night. I'm here in New York City taking the first train out at 4 a.m. to fight for you and all of our children. Let's talk about the Netflix deal. It warrants discussion, and I'll tell you why. This is the one thing I really haven't heard much about, how it affects our children. Dig deeper, look into it. Where did Netflix come from all of a sudden to have these $1 trillion deals, $1 million deals, $1 billion deals, whatever you want to call them? There's lots of money there. I would always say to my husband, how do they strike these $100 million production deals with this one and that one? Where does that money come from? Not those little subscriptions that we're all paying for, or some of us are paying for. But I go back to the day, remember you would get the CDs in the mail with the red envelope and you would get 3 of them. And then when you returned one, you could get a new one. And we thought it was all fabulous and great. Maybe that was about 20 years ago. Fast forward. Let's dig deeper about Netflix. It was rumored the Ellison family was coming in to buy Warner Brothers and pretty much their entire Hollywood, we use Hollywood for shorthand, package of entertainment. That includes franchises that kids love, such as Batman and Harry Potter, Looney Tunes that we all grew up with. But here's the thing about all of this. Now all of a sudden we're hearing Netflix is buying it for $72 billion, plus another $10 billion in some sort of incentive, something, with a total package worth $82 billion. Dig deeper. Where does that money come from? How come we never really heard about them even being interested in this, but all of a sudden they're there? Let's look at who's involved with Netflix. We have the Obamas with their 9-figure production deal. I haven't seen too much content come out of their Higher Ground production company. They did have one movie a few years ago during that horrific COVID period. It was very disturbing. It was something about the end of America. Then we have Meghan Markle. We have various ones. Look at the board. The board would be labeled as mostly Democrats, progressives on the board. You have people like Susan Rice. And here's what's problematic about this deal that nobody's talking about, and I want to talk about. How do you change society? You go after their children. If we have all of the entertainment under one roof, basically, you will control the minds, the thinking of a young brain. It's as simple as that. We have seen from Netflix in the past that they put out there for children sexual content, innuendo, ideologies, I dare say brainwashing. For instance, one of my favorites, Strawberry Shortcake, a cartoon character. She's been around a long time. She has a new friend in her cartoon called Transberry. So we used to traditionally think of colleges infiltrating the minds of the young, the youth, getting them out into the world to create change, right? But now we're going younger and younger and younger. And there's the problem. When you have one entertainment entity, I use that word entertainment for shorthand, controlling content, you are controlling the minds of the young. We know from history that Netflix, a lot of their shows, a lot of sexual dialogue between youth, between teens, and they would say when we would approach them as to why is this, they would say, well, the actors playing those characters, those teens, are 18 plus. We also know there have been different studies in the past that a lot of adults were watching shows that Netflix would label for teens because they wanted to watch these kids in these sexual situations and very creepy stuff. So let's go back to how problematic this is for children. And the American public will not realize this because mom and dad are busy putting food on the table and going to work and making car payments. So your little 2-year-old might be on the couch on an iPad, which we don't recommend. Remember, delay is the way. Put down the devices. Wait until 8th. Watching Peppa Pig as an example. And mom's in the kitchen making dinner. And Peppa Pig may perhaps have a character who's a they. So it's this subliminal messaging that we fear, that we already know because of the history of Netflix. If they're controlling an entire entertainment type catalog and these large franchises such as Harry Potter and Batman, traditional favorites, that they will now infiltrate the minds of our young, of our children. So we may not be hearing now a lot about trans and those different things that we heard a lot about a couple of years ago. I am here to tell you it is there, full swing. We end on the note, how do you change a culture, a society, a country? You go after their young. You go after the education, which we know, K through 12, my neighbor, New Jersey, my beautiful home state, we know what they're doing with the agendas with kids right now. And incoming Governor Mikey Sherrill is going after homeschooling parents, putting ridiculous restrictions on them. So you're going after education. Religion, we'll leave that for another show. Definitely going after religion on different fronts. Going after the minds of our young through entertainment. We've seen it with books. We've seen all of this. Be aware, be alert. Honor our hashtag community creates change. Get back to basics. It sounds very simplistic. Be careful what your children are looking at, what they're reading. You take charge. You are that warrior parent. And as I flash my vintage Santa Claus pin at you, let's all honor this beautiful holiday season of lights and love and giving and receiving. And I'm warning you that this Netflix deal may be catastrophic for our children. Be on the lookout. Question more. Dig deeper. Ask questions. And let's rally against it. I'm going down to D.C. to fight about the AI that many in our government want in the school systems, in our lives. It's already here. And think that this will help when we already know how harmful artificial intelligence chatbots, chat companions, AI companions can be for children. I'll give you a full report when I'm back. In the meantime, when you wake up each and every day, you know the rallying cry of the warriors. Go out and be a warrior.